The structure of the program also fosters a sense of personal responsibility. While guidance is provided, the real work must be done by the individual. Shi Hangyi encourages his students to observe themselves honestly, to take ownership of their patterns, and to cultivate the qualities of a disciplined practitioner. Shi Hangyi is a 35th generation Shaolin master and serves as the headmaster of Shaolin Temple Europe, located in Otterburg, Germany. His background is a blend of Eastern tradition and Western upbringing, making him a unique figure in the global dissemination of Shaolin teachings. Born in Germany to Chinese-Vietnamese parents, Shi Hangyi began his martial arts journey at a very young age. From the age of 4, he was immersed in training that went beyond just physical discipline. He was exposed to the philosophical and spiritual dimensions of traditional Chinese martial arts, which include not just Kung Fu and Qigong, but also Chan Buddhism, the Chinese form of Zen. His early exposure to both Eastern philosophy and Western society helped shape a perspective that allows him to bridge two worlds, the strict monastic traditions of Shaolin and the practical, modern-day lifestyle challenges faced by people in the West. Shi Hangyi's journey into martial arts was not just about acquiring skill or strength, but about confronting life's challenges and understanding himself on a deeper level. Over time, his physical training evolved into a deeper spiritual discipline, eventually culminating in the founding of the Shaolin Temple Europe in 2011. This temple is not merely a training center for martial arts. It serves as a sanctuary for those who wish to practice holistic development through physical discipline, mental clarity, and spiritual introspection. The temple welcomes practitioners from all walks of life who are interested in more than just combat. They come seeking balance, self-awareness, and inner peace. Shi Hangyi's upbringing in Germany allowed him to witness the gap between modern life's fast-paced, high-pressure environments and the slower, deliberate teachings of traditional Eastern philosophy. Recognizing the need to make Shaolin principles accessible to people living outside of a monastic setting, he began developing programs that integrate traditional martial arts and mindfulness into everyday life. He emphasizes that Shaolin Kung Fu is not just about fighting techniques or physical strength. It is about achieving harmony between body, mind, and breath. The martial aspect is only one facet of a broader, deeply philosophical practice that includes self-reflection, ethical living, and the pursuit of wisdom. This perspective is deeply rooted in Chan Buddhism, where mindfulness and presence are seen as the cornerstones of personal transformation. Yes, the cornerstone of personal transformation. What sets Shi Hangyi apart is his ability to make ancient teachings relevant to the contemporary world. His method combines rigorous physical training with practical mental exercises such as focused breathing, meditation, and intentional movement. These practices are designed to cultivate self-awareness, discipline, and emotional balance. Shi Hangyi believes that physical mastery and mental clarity are deeply interconnected. One cannot achieve true freedom without discipline, and one cannot master the external world without first understanding the internal world. This principle lies at the core of his teachings, and is evident in the structured training programs he offers at the Shaolin Temple Europe. As headmaster, Shi Hangyi takes a hands-on approach to guiding his students. He leads daily routines, gives personal instruction, and oversees the development of programs that are tailored to individuals with varying levels of experience and commitment. His instruction emphasizes that the body is a reflection of the mind. When the body is tense or chaotic, it often mirrors an unsettled mental state. Through the repetition of disciplined movement and breath control, students learn to stabilize their thoughts, regulate their emotions, and cultivate a deeper sense of inner stillness. This process is not quick or easy. It requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to face one's own limitations and resistances. Despite being grounded in tradition, Shi Hangyi's teachings are strikingly modern in their application. He understands that most people today are not monks or martial artists. They are parents, professionals, students, and individuals dealing with stress, distractions, and a sense of disconnection from themselves. For this reason, he emphasizes adaptability in practice. He encourages people to take what is useful from the teachings and integrate it into their lives, whether that means practicing a few minutes of Qigong each morning, setting intentions before beginning the day, or simply becoming more conscious of their breath during stressful situations. This flexibility has made his teachings accessible to a global audience and has helped thousands of people begin their own journey towards self-mastery. The international recognition Shi Hangyi has received is a testament to the relevance and power of his teachings. His TEDx talk on the 5 hindrances to self-mastery has been viewed by millions and translated into multiple languages. In this talk, he outlines common internal obstacles such as desire, aversion, sloth, restlessness, and doubt, each of which acts as a barrier to clarity and growth. By identifying and understanding these hindrances, individuals can begin to dismantle the patterns that keep them stuck in cycles of dissatisfaction and confusion. This approach aligns with traditional Buddhist psychology, yet it is delivered in a format that resonates with modern audiences who may have no background in spiritual practice. Shi Hangyi's influence extends far beyond the walls of his temple. He has cultivated a significant online presence, sharing teachings, demonstrations, and reflections through social media platforms and online courses. His goal is not to create followers, but to empower individuals to take responsibility for their own growth. He frequently reminds students that the path to mastery is not about accumulating techniques or achievements, but about letting go of what no longer serves them. True mastery, according to Shi Hangyi, is not about domination or control, but about understanding, alignment, and flow. An essential component of his philosophy is the belief that spiritual insight must be grounded in everyday life. For Shi Hangyi, enlightenment is not a mystical experience reserved for monks or sages. It is the result of living with awareness, compassion, and integrity. This perspective challenges the conventional view that spiritual practice requires withdrawal from society. Instead, he advocates for full engagement with life, using every moment as an opportunity for learning and transformation. Whether one is washing dishes, walking in nature, or dealing with conflict at work, each situation offers a chance to observe the mind, refine behavior, and return to presence. Shi Hangyi's teachings also highlight the importance of community. While personal practice is essential, he emphasizes that growth is often accelerated through collective effort. At the Shaolin Temple Europe, practitioners support one another through shared routines, feedback, and mutual accountability. This sense of connection and shared purpose helps reinforce commitment and fosters an environment where individuals feel safe to explore their vulnerabilities and strengths. In a world increasingly dominated by distraction, speed, and superficiality, Shi Hangyi offers a compelling alternative. His life and work demonstrate that ancient wisdom can coexist with modern living, and that self-mastery is not an abstract ideal but a practical, attainable goal. Through the disciplined integration of body, mind, and breath, anyone can begin to reclaim their clarity, purpose, and inner peace. Shi Hangyi's teachings center on the integration of Kung Fu and Qigong as powerful vehicles for self-mastery, advocating a holistic approach that unifies the body, mind, and breath. This philosophy is grounded in the belief that true personal freedom and clarity arise not from external achievements but from internal alignment. Kung Fu, often associated with combat and physical prowess, is redefined by Shi Hangyi as a lifelong discipline of effort, precision, and presence. It is not merely about fighting techniques or physical conditioning, but about cultivating awareness, resilience, and intentional action. Qigong, similarly, is not just a form of slow movement or breathing exercise. It is a system of energy cultivation that teaches individuals to become attuned to the subtle flows within their own bodies and minds. By practicing these disciplines in a mindful and structured manner, individuals can begin to break free from habitual thought patterns and emotional reactivity, unlocking a deeper sense of clarity and self-possession. Shi Hangyi emphasizes that self-mastery is a gradual, intentional process that requires consistent effort and inner observation. In the practice of Kung Fu, every movement is an opportunity to train not just the body but also the will. Repetition of techniques is not just for muscle memory, but for cultivating patience and focus. A practitioner must learn to endure discomfort, resist distraction, and persist through failure, These lessons extend far beyond the training hall. They become metaphors for navigating everyday challenges. In Qigong, the focus shifts from external exertion to internal sensitivity. Movements are slow and deliberate, encouraging practitioners to listen deeply to their breath, posture, and emotional state. This inward focus helps develop a nuanced awareness of how energy, tension, and thought interact within the body-mind system. Through this, individuals begin to recognize how their internal state shapes their external behavior and how cultivating inner harmony can transform their engagement with the world. Central to Hangyi's teachings is the idea that freedom is not the absence of structure but the result of it. Many people associate freedom with spontaneity or lack of constraint, but Hangyi presents a different perspective. He argues that discipline is what creates the conditions for freedom. Without structure, the mind becomes scattered, reactive, and easily overwhelmed. Through structured practices like Kung Fu and Qigong, the practitioner learns to quiet mental noise, channel energy, and act with clarity. This disciplined approach fosters self-trust, resilience, and a sense of inner stability. As one becomes more attuned to their body and breath, they begin to see how mental habits influence physical tension and vice versa. The unity of body, mind, and breath becomes not just a concept but a lived experience that fosters insight and transformation. The practice of self-mastery, as taught by Hangyi, also involves confronting internal obstacles such as laziness, doubt, desire, aversion, and restlessness. These hindrances, drawn from both martial and Buddhist traditions, are not to be suppressed but understood. Through sustained practice, individuals learn to observe these patterns as they arise, neither indulging nor resisting them. In doing so, they cultivate a neutral awareness that allows for greater choice and responsiveness. This mental clarity, developed through the physical rigor of Kung Fu and the meditative stillness of Qigong, becomes the foundation for wise action. One does not act impulsively or habitually, but with intention and presence. Over time, this cultivated awareness permeates every aspect of life, from how one moves, speaks, eats, and works, to how one responds to stress, conflict, or uncertainty. Hangyi also teaches that self-mastery is not about achieving perfection or eliminating flaws. Rather, it is about deepening one's relationship with oneself. It is the process of becoming more intimate with one's patterns, strengths, limitations, and potential. Kung Fu and Qigong provide a structured path for this inner exploration. They become mirrors through which practitioners can see themselves more clearly. The repetitive nature of training helps strip away illusions and bring hidden tendencies to light. One learns, for example, how frustration arises when progress is slow, or how the ego reacts when confronted with failure. These insights are invaluable not just for martial development, but for personal growth. They reveal the subtle ways in which one's thoughts, emotions, and bodily reactions are interlinked, how awareness can transform them. Hangyi's approach is not dogmatic or rigid. While he emphasizes discipline, he also encourages practitioners to listen to their own experience and adjust their practice accordingly. This balance between structure and flexibility is key. He does not expect everyone to become a monk or martial artist. Instead, he invites people to take responsibility for their growth in ways that are sustainable and meaningful. Whether someone practices for a few minutes a day or devotes their life to the path, the essence remains the same: presence, intention, and self-reflection. The unity of body, mind, and breath is not an achievement to be obtained, but a relationship to be cultivated. It is a way of being that supports clarity, vitality, and authenticity. In this sense, Hangyi's teachings are deeply empowering. They shift the focus from external authority to internal alignment. Practitioners are not asked to follow blindly, but to explore for themselves. Kung Fu and Qigong become laboratories for self-discovery, where every movement, breath, and sensation is an opportunity to learn. This experiential learning is far more transformative than intellectual understanding alone. It engages the whole person, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Through consistent practice, individuals begin to develop a kind of inner compass, a felt sense of what is true and right for them. This inner compass is what guides them through life's complexities with wisdom and grace. Hangyi also highlights the importance of breath as the bridge between body and mind. In both Kung Fu and Qigong, Breath is used as a tool for regulation, focus, and energy cultivation. By becoming aware of the breath, practitioners can access a deeper state of calm and clarity. Breath becomes a refuge in moments of stress, a guide in moments of confusion, and a source of strength in moments of challenge. Over time, this awareness of breath becomes second nature. It anchors the practitioner in the present moment and provides a steady rhythm for both movement and stillness. This embodied presence, cultivated through breath and movement, becomes the foundation for self-mastery. Shihangyi's emphasis on the unity of body, mind, and breath also challenges the fragmentation common in modern life. Many people experience a disconnect between what they think, feel, and do. Their attention is scattered, their energy depleted, and their actions reactive. Through the integrated practice of Kung Fu and Qigong, this fragmentation begins to heal. The body becomes strong and supple, the mind becomes clear and focused, and the breath becomes deep and steady. This integration fosters a sense of wholeness and coherence. One no longer feels pulled in different directions but moves through life with a sense of purpose and harmony. Ultimately, Shihangyi teaches that self-mastery is not a destination but a path. This scaffolding ensures that the transformation is not just intellectual but embodied patience, humility, focus, and resilience. These qualities are not just useful within the context of martial arts but are universally applicable to relationships, work, and personal decision-making. Through this process, participants begin to experience a shift in identity. They no longer see themselves as passive recipients of life circumstances, but as active participants in their own growth and development. In an age where people are bombarded with information but starved for wisdom, Shihangyi's digital offerings provide clarity, structure, and his teachings are not diluted for mass appeal, but retain the essence of Shaolin, while being translated into a language that modern people can understand and apply. The 12-month self-mastery program, supported by his expansive online presence, offers a unique combination of ancient knowledge and contemporary relevance. It stands as a testament to the possibility of transformation, not through escapism or novelty, but through disciplined practice, conscious effort, and a commitment to becoming more fully oneself. By engaging with this program, individuals embark on a path not just of learning, but of becoming, discovering the strength, stillness, and wisdom that lie within. Shihangyi emphasizes the fundamental importance of inner observation and the development of conscious awareness as central pillars of the self-mastery journey. In his teachings, he continually returns to the idea that transformation does not begin with external conditions, but with the ability to look inward and truly witness one's own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. This act of observation is not passive. It is a deliberate practice that requires patience, honesty, and courage. Shihangyi invites individuals to recognize that many of the limitations they experience in life are not due to external obstacles, but to unconscious patterns within themselves. These patterns operate beneath the surface and influence choices, reactions, and perceptions. To gain mastery over one's life, one must begin by becoming deeply familiar with the mechanisms of the mind and the subtle shifts of emotion that often go unnoticed in the rush of daily activity. In the practice of Kung Fu and Qigong, Shihangyi creates a structure through which this inner observation can be cultivated. Each movement, each breath, becomes a mirror reflecting back the current state of the practitioner. If the mind is agitated, the body becomes tense. If attention drifts, the posture collapses. Through these physical cues, the practitioner can begin to notice the intricate link between the inner world and outer expression. Rather than correcting posture through force or willpower alone, Shihangyi encourages the student to inquire into the underlying mental or emotional cause of the misalignment. Is there impatience? Is there fear? Is there a lack of self-trust? In this way, the practice becomes a diagnostic tool as well as a means of transformation. The more one observes, the more one understands, and from understanding, change becomes possible. Shihangyi teaches that this self-inquiry must be done without judgment. The goal is not to criticize oneself for having certain thoughts or emotions, but to witness them with clarity and neutrality. This non-judgmental awareness creates space between stimulus and response, allowing the practitioner to choose rather than react. This space is where freedom lives. It is in this pause, this moment of conscious presence, that one can begin to reshape habitual patterns and respond with wisdom instead of conditioning. Over time, this awareness becomes more refined. One begins to notice not only the gross emotions like anger or sadness, but also the subtler currents of discontent, comparison, or resistance. These insights gathered through daily observation form the basis of self-knowledge. Shi Hingyi often refers to the metaphor of the garden to explain this inner work. The mind is like a garden, and thoughts and emotions are the seeds. Whatever is watered and nurtured will grow. Most people, he explains, are not aware of what they are planting. They feed anger, fear, and distraction without realizing it. Through inner observation, they can begin to choose which seeds to cultivate: peace, patience, compassion, and clarity. This gardening requires effort and attentiveness. Weeds must be removed, soil nourished, and space created for growth. But over time, a beautiful and harmonious inner landscape emerges. This cultivated inner state then becomes the foundation for all external action. When one's mind is clear and calm, decisions become easier, relationships more harmonious, and life more meaningful. Shi Hengyi also teaches that inner observation is not separate from action. Rather, it informs and enhances it. In the martial context, this means that a fighter who understands his inner state can adapt more quickly, stay grounded under pressure, and remain focused even in the face of chaos. In everyday life, this translates into emotional intelligence, resilience, and presence. Whether in a conversation, a moment of stress, or a time of joy, the ability to be aware of what is happening internally allows for a deeper engagement with reality. Life becomes less about control and more about conscious participation. The practitioner is not trying to avoid difficulty or chase pleasure, but to meet each moment fully, with eyes open and heart steady. Shi Hengyi's approach to inner observation also includes a strong emphasis on breath awareness. Awaken. Breath is seen as the bridge between the body and the mind, and it serves as a powerful anchor for present moment awareness. In moments of tension or confusion, returning to the breath provides a direct way to calm the nervous system and reconnect with clarity. The breath reveals much about the inner state. Shallow, rapid breathing often indicates anxiety or fear, while deep, slow breaths reflect calm and groundedness. By learning to regulate and observe the breath, the practitioner gains insight into emotional patterns and develops tools to shift those patterns when needed. Breath becomes a constant companion on the path of self-mastery, a guide and teacher that is always available. In the digital age, where constant stimulation and distraction are the norm, Shi Hengyi's call to inner observation is particularly relevant. Many people move through life on autopilot, reacting to external triggers without awareness of what drives their behavior. The result is often stress, dissatisfaction, and a sense of disconnection from oneself and others. Shi Hengyi challenges this by inviting people to slow down, turn inward, and observe. This does not mean withdrawing from life, but engaging with it more fully. It means being present enough to enjoy a meal, to listen deeply in a conversation, or to notice the beauty in a simple moment. This quality of attention transforms ordinary experiences into moments of insight and presence. The practice of inner observation also fosters humility. As one begins to see the complexity of their inner world, the contradictions, the fluctuations, the unexamined beliefs, there is a softening of the ego. One realizes that being human means being in process and that perfection is not the goal. This humility creates room for compassion, both for oneself and for others. It becomes easier to forgive, to let go, and to support others on their own paths. Shi Hengyi often reminds his students that the inner path is not walked in isolation, but is part of a greater web of life. As individuals become more conscious and centered, they naturally radiate that presence outward, influencing their communities and environments in subtle but powerful ways. Shi Hengyi also stresses the importance of consistency in the practice of inner observation. Insight is not a one-time event, but a continuous unfolding. Just as physical strength is built through regular training, so too is awareness deepened through daily practice. He encourages students to set aside time each day, even just a few minutes, to sit, breathe, and observe. Over time, this practice becomes a foundation of one's life, a quiet strength that supports all other endeavors. It is through this steady attention that lasting transformation occurs. not through force, but through the gentle power of presence. Ultimately, Shihang Yi teaches that inner observation is the gateway to true self-mastery. It is not about controlling life or eliminating difficulty, but about meeting each moment with clarity, presence, and understanding. Through this practice, individuals come to know themselves, not as fixed identities or roles, but as living, evolving beings capable of growth, insight, and connection. The journey inward is not always easy. It requires courage to face what is hidden, patience to stay with discomfort, and trust in the process. But it is also deeply rewarding. As awareness deepens, life begins to reveal its richness and depth. One moves not from habit but from intention, not from fear but from understanding. This is the essence of the path that Shihang Yi offers, a path that begins within and unfolds into every aspect of life.